The community outreach program has been developed over the past few years to become a multifaceted approach to addressing the issues of poverty and HIV in our area. The program attacks these various issues in 4 ways. The first method includes an intensive data collection project whereby orphans and vulnerable children and people living with HIV/AIDS are visited by a local volunteer of the NGO together with leaders from the village to assess their situation. We then dispense various items for the temporary aid to those families most in need. This includes the dispensation of clothes, temporary shelter, school uniforms or school supplies for primary students, and infant formula for HIV-positive mothers who are no longer able to nurse. The program also places these families into one of our income-generating projects, if that is appropriate. This brings us to the second part of our community outreach program, where people living with HIV/AIDS, looking after orphans and vulnerable children, get involved with income-generating projects. HIV-positive members of the community, especially those who are starting treatment, are oftentimes too weak even to work in their farms and provide for their children. There is, however, a local tradition of basket weaving that is common in our area, and this has led to a successful income-generating project that spans our entire project area.
8 different women's groups of between 15 to 20 women each make these baskets that are then sold to tourists traveling through Tanzania. The profit from the baskets goes to educating and providing for their children. The most successful income-generating project is the making and selling of batiks. We claim this to be our most successful project because it is the first project that has become completely 100% self-sufficient.
This is also a great outlet for the women to talk about issues regarding HIV/AIDS in the village, and we have seen the women in the batik group become leaders in the village in terms of educating other women and encouraging people to get tested and seek treatment. The leader of the batik group was, in fact, the driving force behind another income-generating project that began this year where 16 families affected by HIV/AIDS each built a chicken coop attached to their homes in efforts to create income for themselves and increase their overall health. The protein from the meat and eggs that will be produced from this project is especially important with families affected by HIV/AIDS. This was pointed out to us by Dr. Lena Passanen, who has been working as a doctor in rural Tanzania for almost 30 years and has joined our NGO this year as a volunteer.
Dr. Lena, as she's called here, has been named by the World Medical Association as one of the world's most compassionate doctors, and just this year her home country honored her with the award for Most Outstanding Finn living outside Finland. This makes our third component of our program uniquely exceptional in regards to home-based care, as Dr. Lena spends a large chunk of her valued time here in Mufindi visiting the homes of children and patients who are unable to leave their homes for local health facilities to receive treatment. This healthcare and home-based care component of our program takes place in the most remote places in our area, as well as the health dispensaries.
Dr. Lena is a tremendous help in the village as she not only visits the home of the most needy patients, but she also holds clinics at the villages that may not have a health facility. And as she is a pediatrician, she holds children's clinics at the health facilities in the area so the people living in these remote rural villages get the valuable health services that they deserve. Another useful aspect of Dr. Lena's presence is her connections and her ability to bring other volunteers to our area that may have specific areas of expertise.
This idea of getting the services to the community in this rural area is the main idea behind the fourth and final component of our program, at least for now, which is development projects. We have so far increased the capacity and resources at 3 health facilities, and we hope to eventually make the Umdabula dispensary a fully functional hospital to which volunteers with healthcare-related specialties may come to share their expertise. We hope to welcome professional volunteers who may be able to perform surgeries, start rehabilitation programs, have dental extractions and procedures, perform minor eye operations, or other services that the villages desperately need and shouldn't have to travel 4 to 8 hours to get.
Another health-related endeavor the NGO has taken on involves the accessibility of water to the people in our area. We have had a few water pumps installed, and we have also started some water catchment projects not only at the health facility, but also at the Agoda Primary School. This leads us to perhaps our most important development projects, those dealing with education. Since its inception on April 11, 2005, Fox's NGO has tried to improve the quality of education in the area primarily by making Egoda Primary School a model school to which others may replicate. We have doubled the amount of classrooms, which has most importantly led to more teachers coming to the school. We have put 24 new toilets at the school as the original toilets are becoming decrepit and unusable, and we have built a teaching library that is unprecedented, as it is perhaps the only library at the government primary school in all of Tanzania. But it also gives the children a much-needed exposure to English before entering secondary school, where their lessons suddenly switch from being taught all in the local language of Swahili to having all of their lessons suddenly given to them in English.
Also, a school kitchen program has begun where all 500 plus students receive a meal in a mug, or a local dish called uji that is similar to porridge. Since this project's introduction, the teachers have noted improvement in attendance and behavior in the classroom.
We have also started construction of a library at Luhunga Secondary School, where the Egoda primary students will go for secondary education, and we've connected with another organization called Solar Aid that has brought both schools solar panels that not only are a source of income for the schools, but also bring electricity to the schools for the very first time. One of our most important development projects for the long term that is also located at Egoda Primary is called the Luhunga Community Hall. This hall will have many purposes and will be host to a bevy of events, performances, seminars, weddings, and other celebrations, as well as be a focal point in the village, galvanizing the community, creating awareness of HIV/AIDS, and further breaking down the taboo stigma around the disease. On December 1st, 2009, on World AIDS Day, the Luhunga Community Hall opened and hosted the official World AIDS Day event for all of Iringa region. Over 1,000 people attended, and it was the perfect village-run event to start up the facility.
The hall will be useful for many other purposes as well, from a meeting place for grandmothers and mothers to discuss issues in the village, to a venue to host regular tribal traditions, like oral history, and it will also have a room dedicated for adult education. Adult education is perhaps the most important key for integrating into the village. Through adult education and the connections made there, committees regarding community development and orphan care have been formed. Also, by educating adults, a ripple effect takes place, where the adults that were taught teach their children, and education becomes a shared experience. Children are also getting the help outside of school hours, and development of their education as a whole is improved. All of this together will hopefully make the Luhunga Community Hall one of the final steps into pushing this grassroots movement of AIDS awareness and education to its apex.
Several minutes ago, we started telling you about Alice's story. We have had the great honor and pleasure to see her impact on our community evolve into creating an awareness that has changed the lives of countless people, and we are excited to see how this progresses. Her two children, Issa and Willie, are currently attending Egoda Primary School, and their lives have forever been changed by their mother's courage to speak up and speak out to do something for the betterment of her children.
We are happy beyond words to be part of their journey and to be living in such a community of strength and pride. We hope we have at least parlayed a portion of this in this presentation. Thank you for listening.